Have you ever looked at the world around you, the constant noise, the division, the feeling that things just aren't working as they should, and wished for a radical solution? A blueprint that could mend the fractures, restore harmony, or perhaps, if mishandled, shatter everything completely. We often feel a deep yearning for order, for a sense of purpose in the grand societal machine. This feeling isn't new. Thousands of years ago, a philosopher grappled with these very same questions. His name was Plato, and he proposed an idea so bold, so comprehensive, it has been debated, admired, and feared ever since. An idea that promised to build the perfect society, but one that walked a razor's edge between utopia and tyranny. What if the key to a truly just and functional society lies not in new laws or technologies, but in a profound restructuring of human purpose itself? Plato dared to imagine such a world. But his vision, while aiming for ultimate harmony, asks uncomfortable questions about individual freedom, talent, and the very nature of who should lead. Today, we're diving deep into this controversial blueprint. We'll explore its promise, a society where everyone contributes their unique best, leading to collective flourishing. And we'll confront its perils, the potential for an oppressive order, the suppression of dissent, the risk of a dream turning into a nightmare. Are you ready to question everything? The core of Plato's idea, found in his masterwork, The Republic, isn't just about politics, it's about the human soul. He believed that a just society mirrors a just individual. To understand his grand design for the state, we must first understand his vision of what it means to be a complete, well-ordered human being. Plato saw the human soul as having three parts. First, reason, our capacity for logic, wisdom, and understanding the truth. This is the charioteer, guiding our choices. It seeks knowledge and desires what is truly good in the long term, not just what feels good in the moment. Then comes spirit or courage. This is our drive for honor, our ambition, our indignation at injustice. It's the part that feels pride and shame, the part that can be trained to be brave and uphold noble values. When aligned with reason, spirit becomes a powerful force for good, a loyal guardian. And finally, appetite, our desires for physical pleasures, comfort, and material possessions. Food, drink, wealth, and other worldly wants fall here. Plato didn't see appetite as inherently bad, but believed it needed to be managed and guided by reason and spirit, lest it lead us into chaos and excess. A just and happy individual, according to Plato, is one where these three parts of the soul work in harmony. Reason, the wise charioteer, guides. Spirit, the noble horse, provides the drive and enforces reason's rule. Appetite, the other horse, is kept in check, its energies channeled constructively. This internal order is true psychological health. Now, here's the leap. Plato believed this tripartite structure of the soul should be mirrored in the ideal state. He envisioned a society organized into three distinct classes, each corresponding to one part of the soul, each performing the function for which its members are naturally best suited. This is where his controversial idea begins to take shape. At the very top, corresponding to reason, would be the guardians or philosopher kings and queens. Plato included women. These individuals, through rigorous, lifelong education in philosophy, mathematics, and dialectic, would possess true wisdom and understanding of the good. Their sole motivation, the well-being of the entire city. These philosopher rulers wouldn't seek power for its own sake. In fact, they would rule reluctantly, seeing it as a duty, not a privilege. Their lives would be simple, devoid of personal wealth or property to prevent corruption. Their focus would be entirely on governing with justice and foresight for the benefit of all. Next, corresponding to spirit, would be the auxiliaries, or warriors. These are the brave and disciplined individuals responsible for the city's defense and maintaining internal order. They are educated to be courageous, loyal, and to uphold the laws established by the philosopher rulers. Their honor is their driving force. The auxiliaries, like the rulers, would also live communally, without private property or families in the traditional sense, to ensure their loyalty remained solely with the state and its ideals. Their training would emphasize not just physical prowess, but also music and poetry to cultivate a balanced, noble character. Finally, corresponding to appetite would be the producers, farmers, artisans, merchants, and laborers. This largest class would be responsible for providing the material goods and services necessary for the city's sustenance and comfort. Their dominant characteristic is their desire for material well-being, which, when managed, fuels the economy. In Plato's ideal city, Callipolis, justice is achieved when each of these three classes performs its own function, and only its own function, without interfering with the others. It's a societal harmony where everyone contributes according to their nature and training. Meddling between classes is seen as the greatest harm. So how would individuals find their place? Through a sophisticated, state-controlled system of education. Children would be observed from a young age, their natural aptitudes identified. Their education would then be tailored to cultivate those talents, guiding them towards their appropriate societal role: philosopher, warrior, or producer. This system promises a society where everyone is doing what they are best suited for. Imagine a world without square pegs in round holes, where your work aligns perfectly with your innate abilities and passions, contributing to a greater, harmonious whole. This is the utopian allure of Plato's vision. The philosopher rulers, having grasped the form of the good, Plato's ultimate reality and source of all value, would legislate to ensure the city reflects this perfect order. Art, music, and stories would be carefully curated to instill virtue and discourage vice, shaping citizens from their earliest years. This is the fixed society aspect, a perfectly ordered meritocratic system where wisdom rules, courage defends, and productive desires sustain. Every citizen has a clear purpose. Waste is minimized, conflict is reduced, and the collective good is maximized. It sounds almost idyllic, doesn't it? A society engineered for perfection. But here the shadows begin to creep in. This is where the or ruin it part of our title becomes starkly relevant. Plato's vision, for all its intellectual beauty, carries significant and deeply controversial implications for individual liberty and human nature. The cost of such perfect order might be too high. The most immediate concern is the lack of individual choice. In Callipolis, your life path, your profession, is largely determined by the state based on its assessment of your nature. What if you, designated a producer, dream of being a philosopher, or a philosopher longs for the simple life of a craftsman? This rigid class structure, while intended to be based on aptitude, could easily become a hereditary caste system in practice, stifling social mobility and fostering resentment. Who decides who is gold, silver, or bronze souled? And what if they are wrong? The potential for misjudgment is immense. Then there's the censorship. To maintain ideological purity and shape virtuous citizens, Plato advocated for strict control over arts and literature. Stories depicting gods as flawed or heroes as cowardly would be banned. Only state-approved narratives promoting desired virtues would be permitted. While aiming to protect citizens from harmful influences, this level of censorship could crush creativity, critical thinking, and the very philosophical inquiry that Plato himself championed. A society without dissenting voices, without challenging art, risks becoming stagnant, dogmatic, and ultimately unplatonic. The communal living arrangements for guardians and auxiliaries, no private property, no traditional families, children raised collectively, were designed to foster unity and prevent personal loyalties from trumping civic duty. But this is a radical departure from deeply ingrained human instincts and emotional needs. Could such a system truly satisfy the human heart? The bonds of family, the desire for personal possessions, the privacy of one's own home, these are powerful motivators and sources of comfort for many. Eradicating them might create a society of detached, unfulfilled individuals, however orderly. And what about the philosopher rulers themselves? Plato assumes they will be perfectly wise and benevolent. But power, even in the hands of the supposedly enlightened, can corrupt. What if a philosopher king becomes a philosopher tyrant, convinced of their own infallibility and imposing their will ruthlessly? The system relies on an almost superhuman level of virtue and incorruptibility from its leaders. If this fails, the entire structure, designed for perfect justice, could become an instrument of perfect oppression. The very mechanisms meant to ensure order could be used to enforce tyranny. This is the great ruin-it gamble. To ensure societal cohesion and acceptance of this rigid structure, Plato controversially introduces the myth of the metals, or the noble lie. Citizens would be told that they were born with souls of gold rulers, silver auxiliaries, or bronze iron producers, divinely ordained for their roles. This noble lie, while intended by Plato to foster acceptance and prevent class warfare, is deeply problematic. It's a form of manipulation by the state, even if for a supposedly good end. Can a just society truly be founded upon a deliberate falsehood, however well-intentioned? Many critics, like Karl Popper in the 20th century, saw Plato's Republic as a blueprint for totalitarianism. They argued that its emphasis on collective unity over individual rights, state control over all aspects of life, and the rule of an elite, however wise, paves the way for an oppressive regime. The pursuit of a perfect, unchanging order could also lead to societal stagnation. Human societies thrive on dynamism, innovation, and the ability to adapt. A system designed to be immutable, resistant to change, might struggle to cope with unforeseen challenges or evolving human needs. So Plato's vision presents us with a profound dilemma. On one hand, the promise of a society governed by reason, where everyone contributes their best, free from internal strife and injustice. A world of profound order and purpose, a true Callipolis or beautiful city. On the other hand, the chilling prospect of lost freedoms, suppressed individuality, and the potential for an unchallengeable tyranny masquerading as benevolence. A society where the human spirit might be stifled in the name of a cold, engineered perfection. The risk of it all going terribly wrong. Is Plato's idea then simply a dangerous fantasy, best left in the annals of history? Or does it, despite its flaws, still hold valuable lessons for us today as we grapple with our own societal imperfections? Perhaps its true value lies not in literal implementation, but in the questions it forces us to ask. Consider our modern societies. Are they truly meritocratic? Do people always find roles that match their talents and passions? Or do we see widespread dissatisfaction, unfulfilled potential, and people in positions of power who may not possess the wisdom or integrity required for true leadership? Plato's emphasis on the crucial importance of wisdom in leadership is a timeless message. He believed that governing is a skill, a craft, requiring profound knowledge and moral virtue, not just charisma or popular appeal. How often do we prioritize true wisdom when choosing our leaders today? His call for rulers to be selfless, to govern for the common good rather than personal gain, remains profoundly relevant. The problem of corruption and self-interest among those in power is a persistent challenge in all societies, ancient and modern. Plato's solution was radical: remove their ability to accrue personal wealth. The idea of education as a lifelong pursuit, aimed at cultivating not just skills but also character and a love for truth, is another powerful takeaway. Are our education systems primarily focused on job training, or do they also nurture critical thinking, ethical reasoning, and a desire for deeper understanding? Plato's focus on societal harmony, where different parts work together for the well-being of the whole, challenges us to think about our own interconnectedness. In an increasingly individualistic world, His ideas remind us that the health of the community and the health of the individual are deeply intertwined. He forces us to confront the tension between order and freedom. How much individual liberty are we willing to sacrifice for greater security, stability, and collective well-being? And conversely, how much societal disorder can we tolerate in the name of absolute individual freedom? There are no easy answers. Perhaps we don't need to choose one extreme or the other. The challenge is to find a dynamic balance, a golden mean, where society is orderly enough to function well, but free enough for individuals to flourish and express their unique potentials without causing harm to the whole. Plato's concept of justice, minding one's own business or fulfilling one's proper role, can be reinterpreted, not as a rigid caste system, but as an invitation to self-reflection. What are my unique talents? How can I best contribute to the world around me, in my family, my work, my community? Finding your place in this sense isn't about state decree, but about discovering your own authentic path, your own inner gold, and using it for a purpose larger than yourself. This personal alignment can bring immense satisfaction and contribute positively to the collective, without coercion. The controversial nature of Plato's Republic serves as a vital reminder. Utopian visions, however well-intentioned, can have dangerous blind spots. The road to hell, as they say, can be paved with good intentions. We must always critically examine grand schemes for societal perfection. It highlights the importance of protecting individual rights and dissenting voices, even when they challenge the prevailing order. A healthy society is not one that silences criticism, but one that engages with it, learns from it, and adapts. True strength lies in resilience, not rigidity. So could Plato's idea fix society? In its original, literal form, probably not without unacceptable costs to freedom and human dignity as we understand them today. The risks of it ruining society by becoming an oppressive regime are too great for most to stomach. But if we extract the underlying principles, the pursuit of wisdom, the importance of specialized contribution based on talent, freely chosen, the ideal of selfless leadership, the cultivation of virtue, and the quest for harmony, then Plato offers profound insights. The call to align our societal structures more closely with reason and justice is as urgent now as it was in Plato's time. His work is a mirror, reflecting our own societal aspirations and shortcomings, prompting us to ask, are we truly building the best society we can? Think about your own community, your workplace, even your family. Are roles distributed in a way that best utilizes everyone's strengths? Is there a sense of shared purpose, of working together towards common goals based on understanding and respect? Plato's ideas challenge us to cultivate our own inner philosopher king, to let reason guide our actions, to develop our auxiliary spirit in service of what is right, and to manage our producer appetites wisely. Personal order, he argued, is the foundation for societal order. This doesn't require a totalitarian state. It requires individual commitment to self-awareness and self-mastery. When more individuals strive for internal harmony and act from a place of wisdom and integrity, society naturally becomes more just and functional. The controversial idea isn't just about a top-down restructuring of society. It's also about a bottom-up transformation through individual virtue and purpose. Perhaps the fix starts not with grand political schemes, but with each of us striving to be the best version of ourselves. We might not want philosopher kings dictating our lives, but we can all benefit from cultivating more philosophy, more love of wisdom, in our own lives and in our expectations of leaders. Seeking truth, questioning assumptions, and striving for the good are profoundly Platonic ideals. The dialogue Plato started over 2 millennia ago continues today. How do we build a society that is both just and free, orderly and dynamic, united in purpose, yet respectful of individual paths? His Republic offers not a perfect answer, but an enduring, provocative question. It prompts us to consider, what is the ultimate aim of society? Is it wealth, power, individual happiness, or is it, as Plato suggested, the cultivation of virtue and the flourishing of human potential in a harmonious community? Our answers shape the world we build. The fix or ruin isn't just in Plato's specific proposals, but in how we engage with such fundamental questions. Do we dismiss difficult ideas, or do we wrestle with them, extracting wisdom even from flawed or dangerous concepts to better navigate our own complex times? Plato's controversial idea, then, is less a blueprint to be implemented and more a powerful thought experiment. It pushes us to the limits of our thinking about justice, freedom, and the ideal organization of human life. It forces us to clarify our own values. Perhaps the greatest fix it offers is the challenge to complacency. It shakes us out of accepting the status quo as inevitable and inspires us to imagine, critically and courageously, what a truly better society might look like, even if our vision differs greatly from Plato's. The ruin it warns against is the danger of any single ideology, however noble its aims, becoming absolute and unquestioned. It underscores the need for humility in our social engineering, for checks and balances, and for a profound respect for the messy, unpredictable, beautiful complexity of human beings. So, as you go about your day, consider this. In your own sphere of influence, how can you foster a little more reason, a little more courage in service of the good, and a little more wise management of desires, both your own and those of the systems you are part of? What if each of us committed to minding our own business in the best Platonic sense, excelling in our unique contributions, guided by wisdom and a desire for collective well-being, rather than by envy or a lust for control over others? That, perhaps, is a fix that carries little risk of ruin. Plato's controversial idea doesn't give us easy answers. Instead, it gifts us with profound, enduring questions. And in the courageous asking of these questions, in our willingness to explore even unsettling possibilities, lies our best hope for wisdom and progress, both individually and collectively. The legacy of Plato isn't a rigid doctrine, but an invitation to think deeply, to examine the foundations of our society, the nature of justice, and our own roles within the grand, complex tapestry of human existence. His ideas, controversial as they are, continue to challenge and inspire. Ultimately, the choice between fix and ruin often lies in the application. Any powerful idea, taken to an extreme or implemented without nuance and compassion, can become destructive. Wisdom lies in discernment, balance, and a humble recognition of our own fallibility. Plato's Republic remains a cornerstone of Western thought precisely because it grapples with these timeless tensions so boldly. It forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about power, human nature, and the elusive dream of a perfect society. It is a conversation that must continue. So, what will you take away? Perhaps a renewed appreciation for the delicate balance between individual freedom and collective good, or a deeper understanding of why wisdom and integrity are paramount in those who hold influence, or simply a fresh perspective on your own unique purpose. The quest for a better society is an ongoing human project. Plato offered one audacious, deeply reasoned, yet profoundly controversial vision. It challenges us not necessarily to adopt his specific model, but to engage with the same fundamental questions with equal rigor and intellectual courage. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of an idea that could, indeed, fix society or ruin it. The power and the peril lies in how we understand, interpret, and act upon such profound wisdom. May your own reflections lead you to greater insight and purposeful action.